doing very well. The government is thinking about the poor of the poorest. But remember, you have a 22.8 billion that we had from the previous year that we have failed to deliver. So how on earth do you expect somebody who has failed to deliver the smaller amount, and then he tells you we are going to make it a bigger amount? It's like you reach a point where you are telling someone that, look, I'm going to pay you 2,000 kwacha per month. And then you fail to pay the 2,000. Then you say, I will increase your salary. It doesn't make sense. And this is what we are saying. Yes, the increment is something that was, welcomed, the 18%. But don't forget, when you look at the aspect of this social protection, you've got the 2.2 billion that was specifically meant for social protection. And then we've got 1.1 billion that was meant for pensioners. And then, of course, we have 899.5 million. This was meant for social cash transfer. I don't even know if it's still there. And then the whole food security package came to about 110 million. Now, the point is this. This is something that academically it's fine. But when you go on ground, you have a challenge. Now, we also need to understand this social protection. We are dealing with citizens that are weak. From whichever angle you look at it, they might be academically weak. They might be health-wise, they are weak. They might have disabilities. You may also look at, in terms of, social status, they are poverty, meaning that economically they are weak. They cannot stand on their own. They cannot do things on their own. And so what they decide to do, they decide to say, look, the only hope we have is the vote. So the poor of the poorest, the weak of the weakest, they are the people who vote in numbers. They are putting or anchoring their hope on the present government, the people they want to represent them. Now, if such people do that, and then you end up disappointing them, do you know how much pain that is caused in the nation? And having said that, look at Christmas. I mean, everybody is... I hope I didn't forget to say Merry Christmas to all.
You did.
I did. Now,
yes, you did.
Look at Christmas. When you look at the Christmas message, the Christmas message is a message of joy. Joy to the world. Joy to the world. Now, that word joy means that it is expressing that you and I must be happy. But you ask yourself this morning, how many Zambians are happy? How many teachers are happy? How many graduates who have graduated as teachers are happy? How many of our policemen and women are happy? How many of our defense force, our men and women in uniform are happy? How many marketeers are happy? How many taxi drivers are happy? How many minibus owners are happy? How can they be happy? You buy a minibus, you go to Kulima Tower, and you are part of UPPZ or UPND. The PF cadres will tell you this is a no-go area for opposition. Can they be happy? So we are saying that we are deprived of joy. And this is why you can't tell me happy Christmas. Which happy Christmas? And so what I'm trying to say here is that we have a challenge. Now, look at this social protection. Look at this budget. I'm particularly concerned with the pensioners. 1.1 billion was meant for pensioners. We have a serious problem in this country, especially with the plight of pensioners. Can you imagine? Here is a pensioner. He has saved 30 years given to the state. After graduating, maybe he graduated at 21 or 22. Then 30 years along the line, he is working, 30 to 40 years. So he retires. And then after retirement, he has already given 30 years. and then he must wait for another 20 years to get his pension. And most of them, unfortunately, they die before they get their pension. And I sat down one night. I said that, look at our government. It says that there's no death sentence in this country. They says they've signed some papers. Nobody must be condemned to death. Nobody dies. But it is the same government that is sentencing pensioners to death. We have a lot of people in Chingwere, in Leopards Hill Road, including Memorial Park, with those nice tombstones. They died and their money is still being chewed by politicians. They are not paying the pension. And this is why, as UPPZ, we are coming up with a policy. And those of you that are listening to me, I am emptying, I am giving you an idea of our policy on pensions, the future of the Zambian worker. We have a plan for the workers. No matter which sector, whether it's a private or public, we have a plan as UPPZ. This is why I'm going to appeal to everyone listening to us, give UPPZ enough MPs so that we'll put into parliament this piece of legislation. And what we are saying as UPPZ, once you retire, you must get your dues within 90 days. We want to use parliament to protect the pensioners. Nobody is protecting them. So if we are saying 90 days, this is going to be compulsory for both the private and the public. There must be an effort to ensure that we secure the future, the social security of our workers. Because right now, the most poverty-stricken, can you imagine, are the people that have saved this country. The people that were signing papers that these politicians have become now developed big bellies. I'm glad I'm not part of the government. So I already have a belly if I do have. So when I get into power, nobody will say that I made my belly from political money. So it's different. But I'm saying we have a challenge. The same people that you were using to sign things to defraud the government, they are now living in poverty. So what we are saying as UPPZ, once you retire, 90 days, you must be given your money in full. We don't want installments. There is no installment in pension scheme. You must give the people the full amount of money. They must plan for their lives. So within those 90 days, it will be compulsory under UPPZ that you must be given half salary within the 90 days. So you'll still be getting half a salary whilst you are waiting for your pension to be paid out. After 90 days, if you are not given your pension, on the 91st day after you retired and you have not been given pension, your full salary must be restored. So basically, you will be paid again for staying at home. A full salary. And we are going to use parliament of legislation. We want to use parliament to push. And we need more UPPZ members of parliament. What we want to do on the pension, on the social security of our pensioners, if the pensioner dies after the 90 days period, and the family must still continue getting a full salary till the double pension is paid. People are saying, but where is the money going to come from? We want to ensure that the people that are given the responsibility to manage the future of workers, they don't become careless. We need to take this thing seriously because a pensioner needs to take his children to school, needs to pay for his accommodation. And that's why we are saying, apart from that, we also have something else we are going to do. We want to introduce a car scheme and a house scheme for every worker. Now, this has to be, it's going to start with the civil servants, and we want to see how we can pass it on to the private sector. The reason being that a worker is a worker. Whether it's public or private, a worker remains a worker. We want to introduce a car scheme and a house scheme. Land must be provided. A house must start being built so that by the time you retire, your house is fully paid for. and you have a car to, even if you never drove, you will drive a car after your retirement. It's a car scheme. We are going to do that. So all I'm saying is this piece of legislation is to ensure that the future of workers in Zambia are taken care of, and we have the ability to do that.
Let me get to read the comments now. Elder Sakala in Garden Township says, Yewo Lorenzo and Mr. Chanda. Sir, you talk well. Now, you're just talking a lot about land. And I believe the issue of governing is not about land alone, but many spheres concerning the nation. Would you tell us what your manifesto is all about? And since you touched on the issue of land, what is your suggestion over the Barotse land matter? Elder Sakala in Garden Township. Please take note of Elder Sakala's question. And then this one is coming through from Andres. It says, Hi, Lorenzo and President Chanda. If elections in Zambia are won through manipulation, at which point do the manipulations take place? Does this mean that the opposition won the last general election? That's Andres asking. His second question is, why then will you take part in an election since they will still be manipulated? Are you insinuating that 2021, the party in power will still carry the day? And then his third question is, why are you not spread out in the country, but yet you expect to win? Do you suppose Zambian TV viewers will buy into the message still even after a renowned Zambian musician releases a campaign song? Okay, and the other one says, is it possible to correct ECZ from outside power? Especially if there is no political will. About political apathy, I feel it looks bad on those who stay away from voting, as that looks bad on them, that it does on the politicians who stay is perpetuated by such acts. Lastly, why have you not joined the political alliance and worked together with the others? Do you think you will be more popular than the alliance and the ruling party? So that's Andres. All right, so Andres and Elder Sakala's text messages are definitely a bulk enough for you to answer. I won't take any more. I want you to respond to them.
I'm going to start with the issue of the alliance. I think we need to make things very clear. You need to go back to the dictionary and look at the word alliance. Now, I've been in touch with the opposition. I'm part of the opposition. I'm part of the opposition family. We have been in discussion. And when you are talking about an alliance is not the issue of fielding up one candidate. This is what I am opposed to. I have given my view. I have told the rest of the political party presidents I am against the issue of closing other political parties to form one political party. Why are you doing that? Then in the first place, if you never had a manifesto to help this country, why did you form a political party? So all I'm saying here is that I have a manifesto. There is something that we need to do. I could have joined the existing parties, but I realized that, look, I am different and my party is different. So when you are talking about why haven't you joined the alliance, I am still part of the opposition. We have the same battle to fight. We want to bring up electoral reforms. But then I need to mention this. I need to explain this. When you are saying, no, are you going to be more popular than the ruling party or the opposition? That's far from the truth. What we are saying here is that we have the 50+1. And the 50+1, we are saying that a party to govern must have 50+1. So what we are saying here is that we are going to have elections. I have explained this to the various political party presidents through the forum that was created. That look at what I'm trying to bring out. Look at the sense I'm trying to pump into this whole issue. If you narrow down all the opposition and you say you are going to put one presidential candidate, and of course everybody knows who is going. If you did that, you don't need a prophet. You don't even need a witch doctor to tell you who is going to be the presidential candidate. I mean, you can even see, even if you have physically able not to see, you can know that from this alliance, this is the one to be the president. But that's not the issue. The issue here is when we do that, we are shooting ourselves in the foot. Because supposing you now have all the opposition to become one, Is that not the same spirit of one party participatory democracy? I mean, one party rule. That's the spirit. You need to allow people with their various views, because that's how we can be able to form a better, society. What I am saying is this: it's very simple. Allow every political party, allow NDC, allow UPPZ, allow UPND, allow PAC, allow all these parties, even those that are going to be formed, because I know you may have another 40 formed, allow them to participate in the elections. In the first round, we might not have an outright winner, and that the possibility is there. Nobody may come up with 50 plus 1. It is only after the first round that we can now say, okay, who are we going to work with? That's how it's supposed to be. Because I am not going to join a fight that, no, we want to remove this one from power. I don't have the right to do that. It is God who raises up some and puts down others. The moment I begin to say the reason why we are coming together is to remove this one from power, supposing the one you want to remove, the one who is saying must be removed, is the one God wants to remove, what are you going to do? So if out of the 10, there is one part there God doesn't want, it means all the 9 plus the one who is 10, all of you fall and you will never rise again. So I want to avoid that. All we are saying is, after the first round, let us gather together, and then you now have to see who you are going to work with. Because I can assure you, I'm not a prophet of doom, but you remember I said so. This thing you are calling alliance, it is going nowhere, and you will mark my words.
Let me accept calls now as I read some text messages. 0960-200-490. LNC in Kitwe says, good morning, Lorenzo and UPPZ. We thank God and appreciate your generosity. Where are the plots in Kitwe? The size, low cost, medium cost, high cost, and the cost of each size. What is the procedural requirement for plot application? I need land at high cost in Kitwe. That's LNC. Please take note of that one coming through. And then this one reads, Mr. Chanda, I really like your passion for Zambians. I am one of the Zambian doctors who has failed to get even a single plot. Kindly help me get one. Dr. Matthew. All right, so that's Dr. Matthew there, who's also asking for a number, President Chanda. All right, and then this one reads as follows. What are you promising poor Zambians? And how are you going to create employment and reduce poverty levels? And what makes you different from other politicians? And why don't you just join other political parties to offer checks and balances to the PF? I really can't make sense out of this sentence, but you're saying, you don't do something, PF will continue winning. I think you meant, if you don't do something, PF will continue winning, and you keep complaining and condemning PF. It's high time you put things in order. No politics of blame games. We want solutions to our problems. Sakalika Shadrach. Okay, let me get our very first call on the program. You're through to Chadbach. How are you? Very well, thanks. Kindly give us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is
Faith. Where are you calling us, Faith?
Lusaka.
Please go ahead.
Mr. President, how are you?
I'm fine, Faith, and how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Mlefa kama plot. Nala mpele number ya WhatsApp, and that number bonsaba le for land. They just need to send me a WhatsApp, and then we will definitely respond to them. No, I'm going to leave it on air. Perhaps I could give it now for those of you that have got pens. This is the WhatsApp line that you need to send me a WhatsApp. Those of you that are interested in land, it's 0977 586 347. 0977 586 347. Drop a WhatsApp.
Before we have President Chanda come back, 0960-200-490. That's 200-490. At the push of a button, you will be through. All right, you're through to Chadbak.
Hello?
Yes, your name, please, and where you're calling us from.
Are you Mr. Chanda?
Yes, Mr. Chanda is my guest on the program.
Oh, okay. I am that. Hello?
Yes, we are.
We just wanted to find out where your offices are located here in Ndola.
Okay, we will give you the details. Just get my WhatsApp line and then we'll definitely respond back to you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming through. All right. So there we go. Let me have you respond to the text messages as well.
There was somebody that brought out the issue of the Barroso land. Now,
yes,
that is not an issue that we can start talking about now. The reason being that it has been there time immemorial. This is something that you sit down with the various stakeholders, and then once you have sat down with them, you can now say, look, this is the way forward. So I cannot come on air and say, this is what I'm going to do. I may not have that. I need to sit down with the various stakeholders. And of course, at the end of the day, what we are saying is that this is a united country. We need to take care of every citizen, whether you are in whatever province you are in. We want to ensure that we look at your welfare, and that is something that we are definitely going to look at. Somebody was asking, at which point is the manipulation? Now, elections in Zambia, I still repeat, currently are not won free and fair. They are won through manipulation. Where it starts from, how do you allow a DC or an official from the state to gather a meeting of educators and it warn them that if government loses, you will see? Now, that's a problem. They have been warned that they will lose their jobs if the government loses. Now, that's a problem. Apart from that, when you look at the various processes, when elections are counted, and this is where it becomes tricky, where they've not been a possibility to manipulate outside processes, it is at the point of counting. A number of polling agents are bought, and what I'm saying here, the actual polling agents can testify that they are bought inside center, inside where you are having elections. That is where votes are exchanged. I got a call from Kasenengo, and this was a teacher. He said, Mr. President, I want to ask you to be very careful this time around with the people you are choosing as your polling agents. He says, I was the one in one of the polling stations in Kasenengo. And what happened there, I didn't like it, but what can I do? I can't change it. You had 400 votes in one particular polling station, and one other highest when counting is being done. Things do happen there. This is why when we are pushing for electoral reforms, we want independent people to be part of the inside when things are being done. This is why the church cannot be quiet. The church needs to come up because they represent everyone in the society. It only becomes a problem if we pastors are also bought with brown envelopes. God forbid. But even apart from that, somebody was saying that, Mr. Chanda, why don't you correct ECZ? Now, this is what we want to bring up these issues in our dialogue. I am against a dialogue that will exclude ECZ. These two must be part of the dialogue. The reason being that every election problem we have, it's BCZ. They must be part and parcel of the group. They must come to the party so that they can hear our sense. And then we all agree that we want to a party in Zambia to win elections free and fair. Even the way you save, you will not have God as your enemy. Remember, this is a Christian nation. If you cheat, you can cheat man. You can never cheat God. This is why some problems in the country, you don't know the source. The source could be from the ballot box.
0960 That's the number for you to call us on. Let me read some text messages and also accept calls. But the issue of land, Mr. Chanda, raised a serious one. Humphrey Chamunda in Kitwe. Okay, let me get this call and you'll be able to respond to Humphrey as well. You're through to the program.
Brother Rego, good morning.
Good morning. Kindly give us your name and where you're calling us from.
Tony Kako here in Chanda Town.
Brother Kako Nikako, please go ahead.
Wakati animanewa.
Tauka wakati anove.
Ukakuile loko kujongolidalisika.
Tamuonge Jehova.
Aha. Yai, adeli la kamu kila pakama.
Sure tate.
Kama tamesu mafunisha. Tamu kidari mutu halizi independent yamene mukamba hapo. I don't think mbali na kundwera. Mationa, right?
Mwamene sure.
Mwamene nililime pano sona kuvutika mpaka salama kutimiri 100,000 ningaikane sure nitenga maona ndio katika somo kuvutika kwa abantu wewe nimechameni kambako ndako chunguki kisi ni visati waiona ka kuna mtendere wa opposition walilini kugurizana mtendere ndio wamekufunga mwanamwatu wengine pameki makamba sigazitamana pameki makamba so zini maelections yameyakula kutogoro yengi kiadvocate kofi weya matekezi na politicians wote nao mwanamwatu for granted yai wanani wanzatu mwanga wanataka zote as I'm concluding with Brother Lorenzo, as long as you are in opposition, you will never be happy, you will never be satisfied. Ataka silitaka mafuta ni wewe akaniongera Brother Lorenzo na tutasikiwa na Mungu utakada ya mikira Mungu ngobole wa mkonzera sabu no mailo watokonyeza zangu na kuisha ndio kama kuna mtendere tu kunisita mwa watu Zambia ndaenda ni Brother Lorenzo
Ziko mwa brother Kako ni Kako.
Ziko mamgeni program. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. So that's brother Kako ni Kako in Chongwe. All right. Let me get two quick ones on 0960 200 490. That's 0960 200 490. All right. This one reads, good morning, Lorenzo and Mr. Chanda. The president is just talking about solutions without telling us. And the president should know popularity is also important. And he's not popular. Paul from Lusaka. Let me get this call so that you respond to Paul as well. All right. You're through to Chatback. Your name, please, and where you're calling us from. Rashi Precious, please go ahead.
I'm Shanosh Precious.
company, which are about the very company. So, which to like something I used to say was the Johnson Zeva PS Verata, the better than the Republic. This to the Bombana, this to have one of what is the word going at the push of the dam for what I used to say. Because I used to say, what I had to do, I took a bar and two. But I had a much. It's not a power Chanda. I used to get the prayer one. We don't have fish to let other people my business that the fish to let them say. I used to ever read it down.
Okay, thank you for being President.
The issue of the union purpose for opposition parties, that cannot be overemphasized. There is need for us to look at how we it can only become a problem if among us as opposition, somebody or a few would want to, use others as a step. That is the only thing that we need to avoid. But the issue here is that ECZ needs to come to the party. ECZ must be aware that as UPPZ, we have given them 2 out of 10. That's the rating. So as far as I'm concerned, the current ECZ can never deliver an election that is free and fair. And that they need to face that. So they need to come to the party and listen to some of our concerns. They must not come up with these things they are coming up. No, we want to do online. We want to do these things. Those things are unnecessary. They must listen to our complaints first, because we don't want them to start increasing problems. You want to do online registration when the physical one you can't manage. It doesn't work like that. So all we are saying here is that ECZ needs to correct a number of things. They must give us a platform. If I was a director at ECZ, you know what I could have done? I could have called for an endeavor of all the political parties as ECZ and say, people, we want to know what are some of our flaws, what are things. That's what you expect from a good leader. But the leaders we have that are biased, they will never do that, because they have to wait for instructions. They will tell them, no, that one don't do. Those are not leaders. We need a leader at ECZ that is not biased, a leader that is Zambian. And what do I mean by Zambian? He must care and love every citizen of Zambia. What we have now is half Zambian kind of leadership. They don't care as long as it can please one side. If you go to the Western Province, you say, one Zambia. They'll tell you one side. They are right, because it is only one side that is considered. So ECZ, clean your house. Your house is dirty. Your house is filthy. You need to clean it so that every Zambian will be able to be happy that we have an electoral body. If we fail to manage elections, there's nothing wrong to go to South Africa and ask them to come and they can our own ECZ. So we need to look at that.
All right, let me get the last call for today. You are through to Chadbach. Very well, thanks. Your name, please, and where you're calling from. Please go ahead, Chilufya.
Thank you, sir. How are you, Mr. President?
We know Mshad what you do.
hapa Christian, they are saying Zambia is a Christian nation. But we have seen that right now, liberty ile mweneka kwa kirewisha ama Christian. According to what I've seen and I've observed. So, takwa si ima mwasaba intonguru idosa nchila Zambia. What are your plans? Because what I've seen currently is that the Muslims are not being touched. But we find that they are scrutinizing Ama Christians. They are concerned about the Christians than other religions that are in Zambia as well. For example, Nadimweneko somewhere where a person reported to the court that there is Christian that is making too much noise, which is not pollution. And then if I'll see also I'm a Muslim, when to go to speakers, speakers, early in the morning, you find that they are making a lot of noise. And no one is touching them and no one is supporting them when they are being reported. So how are you going to do it? Then another thing is, you are saying how bad it is in terms of land issue, and we thank God that we are working so hard to help and resolve the issue of land. Of which you cannot do much because we are not so much into power, but I believe when you come into power, you will do that. So that's my concern. The other thing is that you are good.
I'm humbled.
You are coming out. We are just meant to be supported. I don't know where we can find your officers so that we can helping you and why your officers as a party.
Okay.
So those are things that we want to see. Also, of course, we have been looking around to see where we can find your maybe your people, like the MP in Saka, where are they? Where can we find you? How can we contribute if we want to contribute something in your party? Because we are in your party and we like the way we are doing things.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming through. All right. What a befitting caller to be the last one on the program.
Yes, and if I was in a church, I would say I am going to be in the spirit on the Lord's Day. Now, when you look at Christianity, I mean, let's face realities. I do understand we all have weaknesses. Everybody has his own weakness, and that's why Jesus came to strengthen us. Now, I have a problem. I'm not trying to judge. I'm just trying to use the Bible. So those of you who don't use the Bible, please, you need to pardon me. Excuse me, since I'm already a Christian voice. If you have never used the Bible, please just pardon me. I am dealing with the people that use the Bible. One of the scriptures in the Bible that I have seen, it's on beer. It's on drinking. Drunkenness is forbidden by God. We are not describing how many beer can make one drunk, but we're just saying drunkenness because a drunkard is a drunkard. I mean, if I steal one kwacha and you steal 2 million, there's only one word in English that can describe both of us, you and I. One who stole 1 kwacha and the one who stole 1 million will be regarded as thieves. So we can't say I'm a small thief. There's no such. A thief is a thief. So when you look at a drunkard, I mean, as far as the Bible is concerned, it's not quantity, it's the act. It's the act of drinking that makes you to offend God. Now, why I'm worried, you have a political party with a minister of religious affairs who, according to us, we thought this is going to help a Christian nation. That's what I was thinking. I was even praising the president. In my prayers, I said, oh God, thank you for this president you have given us, who has even helped us to have a minister of religious affairs. But then I got a shock of my life that the minister of religious affairs was part of the cabinet that agreed that they were going to use alcohol in Mangango and she was there in Mangango. She couldn't stop her political party from, can you imagine, the political party made the people to backslide because they drank. Some of them had never drank. Now you can imagine the whole village A car brings beer. Even those who were never drunkards, they drank. Now, is that Christian nation? So we are saying this ministry is antichrist. It is working against the principles and the ethics of Christianity, because a reverend cannot authorize the selling, the buying of beer for citizens. Daniel was in Babylon, and they were told to eat meat that is sacrificed to idols. He was part of the cabinet. Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they refused to compromise in Babylon. Those were children. That was like a ministry of religious affairs. They refused. But the ministers we have here with a tag of Christian, you must think twice. How can you compromise and lower the standard of Christianity just because of you being a minister? If I was her, I would resign with immediate effect, because I would rather save Christ. I would rather do that which is right in Christ than promote my political party.
In conclusion, in about a minute, how do you wrap up by describing the year 2018 in very few words, President Chanda?
2018, when you look at the silent voices, because there are various voices. There's the silent voices and the most loud voices. The silent voices are cries of the citizens. There is cry in every part of this country. There is no food. People are eating mangoes. Farmers are not paid. Miners are afraid. Now, that is how 2018 has ended. It has ended on a sorrowful state. And we are saying, PF, you still have the mandate till 2021. Bring back joy to the people that voted you into power.
That's what time I had on the program. I've been talking to the UPPZ President, Charles Chanda, on today's edition of the Chatback Retro program for the year 2018. Coming up is News Then Chipo picks it up with lifestyle. Enjoy the rest of our programming, and God bless. President Chanda, thank you very much for coming through the program one more time.
Thank you, Brother Lorenzo, and thanks to all the listeners of Radio Christian Voice. God bless you, and Happy New Year.